the federal opposition, is pushing for a national royal commission into the Bondi terrorist attack, and more broadly, the rise of antisemitism. The idea has got some support, though. Independent Wentworth MP Allegra Spender has supported the idea, and two Labor MPs, backbenchers Ed Husick and Mike Freelander, have both told the Australian Financial Review they'd like a national inquiry. The Prime Minister, though, Anthony Albanese, is still against the idea.
The idea that we would have multiple royal commissions as well as a review running at the same time is going to simply delay action.
Well, Andrew Wallace is the Shadow Attorney-General, and good morning to you, Shadow Attorney-General. Why do we need a Royal Commission?
Good morning, James. Well, why do we need a federal Royal Commission is the question. The Prime Minister, the snippet you just played from the Prime Minister then, is trying to obfuscate the issue here. We shouldn't have a state royal commission and an inquiry in relation to intelligence agencies and then another federal royal commission. We should have one all-encompassing federal royal commission. The Coalition put together a draft terms of reference for a federal royal commission. It was extensive. The Prime Minister criticised it as being too extensive, which I've not quite heard before, but be that as it may, we need to look at all of the issues that have led to the rise of anti-Semitism in this country since the 7th of October 2023, culminating in the Bondi terrorist attack a week or so ago. Only a federal royal commission can span all of the state and territory jurisdictions. We need to look at the connection between law enforcement, we need to and intelligence agencies, we need to look at immigration, we need to look at the sector in the arts and cultural sectors, the influence that has had on the rise of anti-Semitism. If we just did this New South Wales State Royal Commission, as the Prime Minister is suggesting we should do, what would happen if it came out in evidence that these two individuals had trained or had received some assistance from, say, someone in Victoria? You can't have the worst terrorist attack on Australian soil being done in a piecemeal manner. A federal royal commission is the only way. It is the preeminent form of inquiry in this country. And James, it's not just me saying this. We've got a former Chief Justice of the High Court. We've got a former Governor General. We've got a former head of one of our intelligence agencies. We've now got more than 100 silks, so senior barristers in this country, all signing a letter saying this is the way to go. A federal royal commission is the way to go. I don't know what the Prime Minister's got to hide. I don't understand why he's pushing back on this, but I'll continue to prosecute this because the people who died at Bondi and every Jew in this country deserves to be safe. And we need a thorough investigation into it.
Andrew Wallace, you mentioned there, the New South Wales government is looking at doing their own royal commission, but as you said, you want a federal one to take in quite a fair bit. You said that you released the scope. You want to look at the rise of anti-Semitism, how online media, arts, cultural, education sectors have looked into this, or how their part in this, conduct of ministers, roles of far left and far right, and anti-Israeli and anti-Zionist. This is quite a lot, and the main criticism that you've been facing over the past few days is that it would take too long. How do you make sure it doesn't take too long as Shadow Attorney-General?
Well, one of the suggestions that are in the terms of reference is that the Commission should report back with an interim report by the 23rd of June. That's 6 months away.
What can you get done in 6 months, though?
Well, the Prime Minister's talking about an inquiry, that's going to hand down some results in April.
Andrew Wallace, but what about your plan? I want to hear about your plan and what makes you think that you can get some stuff done in 6 months?
James, we're talking about an interim report which will identify the learnings from the Royal Commission. That could be done initially within 6 months. Now, there's no doubt, James, that Royal Commissions take time, and they should, because a federal Royal Commission, as I said, is the preeminent form of inquiry in this country. The seriousness of the rise of anti-Semitism in this country, which culminate in the deaths of 15 people and hospitalisation of 41 people in this country, demand a full and thorough inquiry. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Now, the Coalition has been very quick to point out that whilst this is going on, whilst a federal Royal Commission is going on, the government can still be acting to do things like pass the electronic surveillance bill that the government has had on its desk for some time, for quite a while. Now, that bill would modernise the way that our intelligence agencies are able to monitor communications for would-be or likely terrorists. You know, the communication system that we're operating in now is totally different to how it used to be 20 years ago. We need to make sure that our intelligence agencies are properly equipped to be able to deal with these threats.
Andrew Wallace is with you, his Shadow Attorney-General here on 666 ABC Radio Canberra, 19 to 9. I'm James Findlay, and you're hearing about the Coalition, the Federal Coalition's calls for a Federal Royal Commission into the Bondi terrorist attack. You just brought up an interesting point there in regards to the federal intelligence agencies and how you want to look into whether everything that they did could have been done differently or done better. Look, some royal commissions can hold private hearings. To what extent would the federal intelligence agencies be required to hand over classified documents in your federal royal commission?
Well, those would be a matter for the commissioners themselves, but certainly it is not uncommon for matters to be taken in camera, and there would be some classified information that our intelligence agencies would not obviously want to reveal issues in relation to their statecraft. Despite what happened in Bondi, I still believe and support our intelligence agencies. I think we have the best people and the best organisations in the world, and we and they pride themselves on their statecraft. So we don't want that getting out as to how they operate in many instances in a public domain. So those would be issues that the commissioners would need to be sensitive towards.
I want to bring you up on a point that you made there just to get some clarification, because Richard Miles this morning, or in the last few hours, in the last 24 hours, has said on Sky News that if we walk down the path of a Royal Commission, it will become the number one reason why anyone who wants to delay on any of these actions would claim a delay, saying that if you wouldn't be able to put in changes to legislation if the Royal Commission wasn't complete. Are you saying that that you would support the government putting changes in to, make things safer for the Jewish community or for other minorities if the Royal Commission was still in process?
To suggest that everything gets put on hold pending the outcome of a Royal Commission would be an utter abrogation of the government's responsibilities. There is no reason whatsoever why, and I'll use the example of the electronic surveillance bill. There is no reason why that could not be enacted. Now, if it turns out that whenever the Royal Commission hands down its recommendations, that bill, or by that stage it would be an act, needs to be amended, that can be done. That can be done easily. But to suggest that everybody downs tools and sits on their hands pending the outcome of a Royal Commission, that is just fundamentally misleading. And quite frankly, it's an insult to Australians' intelligence.
Andrew Wallace, really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
It's Andrew Wallace there, the Shadow Attorney-General here on 666 ABC Radio Canberra.
Authorised by Andrew Wallace, LNP, Boccarina, Queensland.